So I think we should have sound now? Alright, so I think we should have sound now? Alright, good. Here we go. Anyway, this is try number 3. We've had some technical difficulties here. Not, I don't know if it's the weather, because it's been windy as heck recently and like every day. And, you know, it's been taking more than one try to have a successful stream. Anyway, I am Coach Bachkalupi, coach of your Relocation Football League NFC West champions. Oh yeah, I guess I should apologize for the late starts, but that's why this internet's been acting weird. But yeah, so anyway, like I just said, I'm the coach of the NFC West, RFL NFC West champions, barring some crazy mess, me doing something bonehead again, and that's what first thing I'm going to address, because I've created the segue on unintentionally. Alright, so my suspension came from just a procedural error on my part. I should have. It's funny because I've been double checking everything before I do it for the most part, just to make sure at least the first time. And this is like the procedural error I made. We won't get into exactly what that was. People know what it is. The ones who need to know. I just did something I shouldn't have. That's ultimately on me. We won't get into that too much, but yeah, I'd been double checking with everything, and then the one time I did something wrong, or I did it wrong. It was funny because I had been talking about the procedure, sort of, but kind of indirectly to people, and I don't think they didn't get what I was thinking. Well, I know that's what it is because I've talked to them and they were like, "Oh, I didn't know that's what you meant." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. That's my fault. I mean, it's just one of the things you think one person thinks you're talking about one thing, you're talking about something else. It happens, miscommunications, and again, 100%, that's my fault. And not to say the old cliche that'll never happen again, but it won't. That would be stupid on my part to let that happen again. Um, yeah, it would probably get me fired. Um, yeah. But anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say on that subject. Um, Not really. So, to the next point of topic. So, like at the beginning of the season, I was asked, I don't know the exact question, but it was pretty much asked me what's the goal. I mean, obviously, which I think this pretty much was my answer. Obviously, winning the championship is the goal. You want to win the championship every year, even if you're coming off being the worst team in the league and you had the first pick, or even if you were the worst team in the league and you had traded away your first pick, you're still coming to the season wanting to win the championship. Um, but there's also, you might not win, but what's a success? Um, Seeing how the Crusaders pretty much missed the playoffs by a game. My goal was make the playoffs. And after a kick from Alan James last night, bam, we're in the playoffs. First mission accomplished. So now we have a new mission, and that's the Relo Bowl. And that starts with a home game against a wild card team, which will be a good team. So it's not going to be like we're probably going to be the underdogs in that game. Um, so what else I wanted to say about that? I should have wrote notes of everything I wanted to say, but we got dealt with so many technical difficulties starting this thing. I didn't have time to write notes. Um, but speaking of playoffs, look at the top. That's the schedule. Week 15. That's what is just about to end. That'll end tonight. Then we have our NFL bye. We don't, you know, and then we have one last RFL game against the Columbus Explorers, and that game's going to be more about getting through that not injured, because nothing's going to change for us. It may change who we play, because the Explorers, as I actually, um, the Explorers have a good chance of being that wild card team that we play. So it might come down to: are we going to try to win that game? Are we just going to sit people? But it wouldn't make sense to try to beat the Explorers so we can play the Explorers again. Especially since we don't want to send out a a winning game plan in a game that doesn't matter for us, and then they see that. Like, even if we're successful, we beat them, and then we end up playing them again. And like, well, they know our game plan now, so that puts at a disadvantage. Because then we can't game plan for them, because we know they're going to change what they do to us. And that's probably why we lost to the Condors. We couldn't really game plan. I mean, we just went with the same old thing. And not same old thing. We went with the same thing that beat them the first time, which was a mistake. But I mean, you beat a team. Like they say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And what hurt more is we couldn't see any adjustments from that game because they had a bye week, and then they played us again. They played us 2 weeks in a row. Our schedule is based off the NFL schedule, so this is a 100% shot at the NFL. I do not like the way they run their schedules. It's imbalanced. It's crazy. Just look at the suspension for the Snowhawks. The Elks got to play a suspended Snowhawks twice. I got the Snowhawks once in their suspension. We got the Snowhawks once in their suspension, once out. The Crusaders have to play, or not Crusaders. The Condors have to play the Snowhawks twice post suspension. So it's not. Yeah, it should be safe to look at. Oops. The Condors are 6-8, and the Elks are 8-6. Hypothetically, like we have no idea. We're never going to find out what 2020 Elks would do against 100% 2020 Snowhawks. But it's possible the Elks get swept by the Snowhawks, and the Condors sweep the Snowhawks if their schedule was switched. So that's like, if I was running the NFL, you would play your division opponents in the first 5 weeks of the season, 5 or 6, and then your last 3 games would all be division games, because you're battling for the division at that. You might be battling for the division at that point. You might have everything clinched up by then if you're in a terrible division and you're the one good team. But yeah, it's crazy that. And then you look at injuries. If, say, let's take us and the Condors. Let's say the Condors injured Wakefield in the first game, and then they got to play us again without Wakefield, and then Wakefield comes back the next week, and he's fine, and then the rest of the teams in the league have to play 100% Wakefield. You know what I mean? Like, they really need to split those games up. I know injuries happen, and there's suspensions. Teams aren't the same every game, but you gotta split up the. You can't have teams play each other almost back to back. That's terrible. Um, so yeah, I don't even know how I got to that point. But anyway, as you see, we are the division champs, are the division leaders. We'll have the fourth win next week. That'll make us 10-5, and it doesn't matter what happens with the Explorers at that point because we only have one division loss, and it was against the Condors. So we can tie the Elks. We have them head to head, and we have a better division record. So let's talk about the game last night. Um, First off, it was Mother's Day, and I didn't do my scheduling that well. So I was picking up dinner as the game started. So I'm watching on my phone, and I don't know. Maybe it's the signal in the city where I'm at. Because I was having trouble with the data signal. Usually I would blame my phone here because the Stylo 4, the regular Stylo 4, I think the Stylo 4 Plus and the Stylo 5 are doing fine. I know I love the Stylo 3, but the Stylo 4, at least mine, is terrible with its reception of data, reception, and Wi-Fi. Like, with previous phones, I could be in the kitchen and have perfect signal. With this, I'll be in the kitchen and it's half. Same with like Walmart. I could go anywhere in Walmart and have a full bars of Wi-Fi, but I go into Walmart with this phone, I have half. So anyway, usually I would blame the phone for that reason, but I was getting bad reception downtown, going through town, at home, with the Wi-Fi, without the Wi-Fi. When I turned my Colt was a star in the Crusaders when that's up there on the news. Um, Props to. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I got it on my computer. That was on the Wi-Fi, the home Wi-Fi. I got on um, the a hotspot that's close to the house as well. Signal was just, and I was the only one who had a problem with it. So I know it wasn't the league stream, and like I mentioned at the beginning, technical difficulties part of the reason the show started late. Oh my gosh, I said offense versus defense. Anyway, sorry. Um, so yeah, I was dealt with that during the whole game. It was driving me nuts. I hadn't got a lot of sleep, and I had just taken a 5-hour energy extra strength about 2 hours previous. So I had the jitters. My heart was racing. Physically, I was not doing well watching that game. It was. Whew. What's crazy is, like I won't hide the fact that I wasn't pleased with Freddie Kitchens' game planning. He got the job done, so it doesn't matter. I like you can't crap on success. He did his job. Though uh, he was in control for about 2 weeks, and over that 2 weeks, he did a lot of things now I have to fix. Um, I have to go in there, see who he signed, who he released, um, remember depth charts, because it looked like he messed with that too. I haven't got the chance to really get into this. I just got put Madden in the system for the first time in a while. Uh, so I gotta go through all that, list everything, send it to the league, and then we gotta go over everything I need to do and what to fix the issues that he changed. I know he picked up a linebacker I had been looking at, but I was like, I don't need to really pick him up. We're kind of full at linebacker. But he picked him up. I don't know who he released. So we're going to have to fix all that. But fortunately, we have this NFL bye week. We have a game after that that doesn't matter. So I have 3 weeks to plan to get everything straight for the playoffs. I know I got to fix everything Freddie Kitchen did this week, but I still have time to plan for what I want to do against Columbus in Week 17, and ultimately our playoff game. And I was, which is, unless I'm mistaken, the first time this franchise has been to the playoffs. Not the city. San Diego Red Dragons beat us a few years ago. They were in Reload Bowl #2. Go check that out. They started a RFL playlist on this channel, Back to Bragg Sports, and it's pretty much so when people ask is like, what should I watch first? I can just be like, yeah, go to this channel, go to this playlist, hit shuffle. I do that sometimes. They're still building it, putting as many RFL videos in there as possible, but that's what I do. I go, like, when I want to watch something RFL and I don't know what to watch, I go to that playlist, hit shuffle, and watch whatever comes up. So it should be safe to look at the news. Let's look at this Colt McCoy's. Da 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 da. Oh shoot. You know what? We need to look at. Well, first let's look at this. But in the game yesterday, Vondre Bryson got hurt. So did Lindsey Harrison, but he's fine. Let's look at these stories, and hopefully they'll tell us what happened, or what the I still haven't found out the situation with Vondre Bryson and his injury. Colt was the go-to man in the Crusaders' win over the Tigers, finishing with 112 receiving yards on the day. Ross Tucker needs a little bit of that look at me attitude as a receiver. A Colt had it today. Johnson Coachman, turn on the Crusaders game. You have to see the day Ben Wakefield's having. Yeah. The Tigers failed to contain Wakefield and the Crusaders' passing offense in San Diego's win. Crusaders QB compiled 395 yards in the victory over the Tigers. He was actually outdone by their quarterback, and I was surprised. So props to I have trouble saying his name. It's like Vanderval. Anyway, Crusaders prevail in OT. The Crusaders refused to give in to the Tigers this week, taking the game to overtime and winning 26-23 on the road. Man, that defense had a slow start, but man, they picked it up after giving up points early. Just heard the news about Vondre Bryson. Feel terrible. Oh God. Vondre Bryson could be out for a while. Well, let's go see what his injury is. Uh, 4 weeks. Sheesh. So, will it say 3 weeks next week? Either way, we're not going to have it for the so 4 weeks. Jeez, he's not going to be ready till like the divisional or the conference championship. Fortunately, Sanchez Lawrence and Clem Austin tore it up. I don't have their numbers, but they did a great job running the ball. Hopefully that's because the offensive line and they did a good job, not just because of who we were playing. Um, and props to Coach Rilabi. He did a great job last night with his team. Oh my gosh, if we had lost that game, it's kind of funny. Three things would have had to happen for us to still not get in to the playoffs. We would have had to lose to the Explorers, which I'm sure we're not favored to beat them, even if we put out our best effort. Um, and then they would have to beat the Condors, which they're probably favored to, and then they'd have to beat the Brooklyn Barons. That's right. Who I think they'd be favored in. Shoot, the Barons might rest people for that game and try out younger players. Just I don't want to say to throw that game, but we traded for Sanchez Lawrence with them, gave them our second pick. So the worse we do, the better pick they'll get. So I wouldn't blame him for, using that game against the Elks as a experiment game, and then whatever happens, happens. So it's a lot of things that would have had to happen for the Elks, but they were all favorable to happen. So that game against the Tigers was huge. And it's good not to have that stress for the next 2-3 weeks, or 1 to 2 more weeks on whether we get in or not. Oh wow, DJ Scott's out for 5 weeks. Wait, oh my gosh. That's wow. That's rough. I mean, they were already out of the playoffs, but to lose your number 1 and number 2 running back like that, sheesh. Huge fan of Jacob McDonald's, by the way. Let's get this show to a half hour. I am taking questions, by the way. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything I thought about talking about. I wanted to cover. Yeah. Oh, some question that did come up was my feelings towards the game, and like it's weird to win that game but not be a part of that game. It's like I did everything to bring them to that point, but someone else crossed the finish line with them. That sucked. It sucked not to be the coach of that game. But who knows? Hindsight's 50-50. Maybe I go in there with the wrong game plan. As much as I didn't like Freddie Kitchens' game plan, as close as a game as that was, that I feel we should have won more. We could have won more convincingly. We won nonetheless. I could have gone in there and we had a repeat of the second Condors game. But you wouldn't think that, considering my last game against the Snowhawks. We beat them convincingly. I mean, I wasn't convinced of it till the game was over. Let's see here. Freddie Kitchens didn't change. Didn't make us worse, didn't make us better, it looks like. That would have been interesting if, when I came back and took back over for Freddie Kitchens, the team had better overalls, even if it was just defense or offense. But I mean, I have a game plan, so it's not like it's not like him changing things, getting better players doesn't hurt the future. It could hurt the future. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen everything he's done. I'll take a look at that sometime this week, and get that info to the league as soon as possible. But yeah. All right, we got 3 more minutes to kill, I think, unless we get on we get a bunch of questions coming in. Could end this on 30 minutes exactly. Um, I do want to point out an unsung hero of this team, and it'll be a shame if he doesn't make the Pro Bowl. And I am talking about Alan James. He's missed one extra point, but that wasn't his fault. It was blocked. That was just bad blocking. 53-yard long field goal. Let's compare him to the NFC. The rest of the NFC, that is. He's one of 2 kickers who are perfect from field goals. And you look at the 2 guys who are 100%, his longest is 53. A.J. Moore, his longest was 38. So he's 100%. Oh, that's only 3 field goals. If Alan James doesn't make the Pro Bowl, I don't know what you got to do. I mean, it's possible he foobars the next game and then maybe doesn't deserve it, but I don't think they have a list of who's no, I won't look at. Oh, no, that's not even out yet anyway. I don't know when the Pro Bowls will be announced, but I'm very curious to see who makes it from the Crusaders. So anyway, to recap, before we log out here, as you see on the bottom, RFL NFC West champions. I'm not sure if we're the first team to clinch their division. Probably not. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Check out the Relocation Football League podcast this Wednesday at 8:30 on the Relocation Football League YouTube channel. Check out the games tonight. 6 o'clock there's a game on YouTube. 7:30 there's a game on Twitch. I think the Twitch game is the other San Diego team. Our brother team, the Red Dragons, as they take on the Pioneers. But anyway, yeah. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Peace.